Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
I want to do another musical quite soon. I couldn't tell you what, but there's a couple of projects that may be coming along later in the year.
Hi guys. Hi. First of all, I have to welcome back Debbie Arnold. Where the hell have you been?
Thank you.
Fanfare.
Thank you very much. I've been away. I've been on a saga cruise, and I've also haven't been brilliantly actually well, but I'm now back to a full fettle, and I've had honestly quite a nice break that I needed, not from Harriet, but obviously from Dee and Sherrie, who are not even here because we just thought we'd kick them out and have a fresh start, so I could be with my lovely Harriet, my lovely Hills, and my lovely Sam.
Yeah.
When are those two coming back next week?
Co-hosts. What, darling?
I said they're coming back next week.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. What have you done with them?
I'm not going to tell you. But what I must tell you is what my daughter did for me on April Fool's Day again. I mean, it's on our Facebook page actually and on Instagram. But Kira rang me and she said, "Mummy, you know, you're not going to believe this, but I've just been stopped by the police." And she said, "I've got so many points on my license." I said, "I'm helping my elderly mother." Thank you very much. Who has fallen down, and I have to speed to be with her. She said, "Well, I'll be with you." She said, "Can you just lie on the floor? I've got a key to get in. If you lie on the floor and they'll see that you've fallen over and I'll come and rescue you." So I said, okay. So as I was lying on the floor, I lay face down on the floor and I threw my glasses one way, you know, and I did the whole sort of thing.
Yeah.
The dogs were like looking at me
the whole
going,
sets, the costume, everything. Of course you are.
Everything. And then as I was doing this, I thought, it can't be an April Fool because it's in the evening. So she wouldn't know, this must really be happening. Anyway, she walked through the front door. And by that time I'd sat up a bit because she was that long. And she looks at me and I went, "Darling, are you all right?" And I went, "Is this an April Fool?" And she went, "Ah!" And that was it.
Oh my goodness.
And then she brought all her kids in, which you didn't see afterwards. You know, they were all hiding behind the door. Alfie, Archie, everyone laughing at me.
Brilliant. It was great. It was hysterical.
Darling?
Mummy, are you at home?
Yeah, what's up?
I need you to help me.
Okay, what's happened?
I've just dropped Archie home and I've been stopped by the police for bloody speeding.
Oh no.
But I've just said that I needed to get back to my mum because she's on her own and she's fallen down the bloody stairs. I didn't know what to say. I was like, she's fallen down the stairs and I'm like her carer and she needs me or whatever. And they were like, well, I'm in Cobham, so they're like, we'll just follow you home. So they're following me home. They're following me to your house.
Okay, now what?
I don't know.
Can I come to the door with a pair of...
No. Like I've said, you've fallen down, so you can't get up. So I've been speeding to get back to you, and I can't. If I get 3 more points on my license, I've lost it. Can you just pretend? I don't know. Like I've got the key to your house, and just pretend that you've fallen down the stairs.
I'll lie on the floor.
Can you do that?
Why?
I'm so sorry, Mummy. I love you. I'm really sorry. I won't be long. They're just tailing me behind. I'll be there in a sec. Sorry, I love you. God, thank you. Thank you so much. Love you.
Oh, Brett.
Should we go? Should we go? Right, boys, you got your seatbelt on? Mummy? Mummy, are you okay?
I still think April Fool, isn't it? Oh my God.
Next time, darling, just be a bit prepared. Maybe you can prank them, and we need to think about this. We've got a year.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got a year to plan it.
Oh, can you help me, please? Next year, I've got to do something for them.
You have got to get them back. Yeah.
I've never ever done anything on them, but it's usually, I was very actually disappointed Talia didn't do anything, but the one where actually she told me when she was 14, it's a long story, Hills, but you probably don't know, but when she was 14, I was doing a live radio show and they managed to actually tell me during this live radio show through text that Talia was pregnant and she was 14.
Oh my goodness.
And it was in April.
I mean, can you? I think, okay, everyone needs to go and see a therapist. Obviously, we need to get that straight.
Really?
Ladies, I have to stop you there. I have to bring in our darling friend of the show and dear, lovely, cuddly, sweet, murderous Ian Bartholomew.
Yay!
Hello, darling. Welcome to our
hello.
best. It's so lovely to see you again. Now, I know you're going to talk about lots of other things, but I want to talk about when we first met, which was the government inspector at the National Theatre with Rick Mayall, Jim Broadbent, Roger Lloyd Pack, and we were what? I think barely children.
Yes, we were terribly, terribly young and very lovely, obviously.
Do you remember that scene? We did a freezing scene where we all had to freeze when there was things going on stage. And there was a time when we were all sitting there as a group, like a trial. Yeah. And I remember I bent down and I sat up again and my lipstick mark was on my tit and everyone started corpsing.
Well, you see, I don't remember that, but was I in that scene? I think I did a double act with another actor called Kevin Williams, and we were sort of with Dobczynski. All I remember is one of the things I remember most about it was a great company. It was 1982.
Wow!
Yeah,
almighty. And Rick Mayall just had the audience in fits of laughter. So halfway through the second half, they were absolutely exhausted from laughing. It's true. And there was one scene I remember one evening that Jim and Rick were winding each other up on stage and having such a lovely time. And both at the same time, they corpsed, which is, of course, laughing in front of the audience when they weren't supposed to. And the only place they could look was upstage, and I was right in the middle, upstage. And they both laughed unashamedly in my face very loudly. I've never come quite so close to walking off a stage not knowing.
So brilliant.
It's hilarious. No, it was great.
It was the Richard Eyre David Hare company, wasn't it? We did for about 2 years. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I remember it very fondly. It was lots of
wonderful.
Yeah, and made lots of good friends who I still see and here you are. I haven't seen you in ages, but I always consider you as a friend as well. So it's it was a very good time.
And a new friend.
Hello.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'm really, really, really curious. So first of all, can I say congratulations on tackling such a challenging role and topic. I'm an activist as well as a performer, darling. I do a lot of disability campaigning and create awareness around kind of taboo subjects, those subjects that no one really wants to talk about. And I think soaps have a wonderful way of making that so attainable and making that accessible to people. So first of all, hats off to you for that. But I'm very curious for, did you ever have anyone who couldn't really distinguish between you and your character and the storyline? I asked this because, the bits and bobs that I've done on TV, I did quite a well-known commercial with chocolate, and people genuinely thought that I first of all carry that chocolate around with me everywhere. A tap, like I ping it out of orifices. I don't, and that I actually am dating the person that I said that I'm dating. So have you ever had that? But in a more sinister way? Have people been quite verbally abusive with you or so forth?
Luckily, thankfully not, no. Because the really intense stuff was happening during lockdown, I wasn't going out. So I wasn't. and when we went back to filming, because we had a 2-month break, when we went back to filming, because of COVID regulations, we were asked to drive, not terribly ecological, but it kept us safe. So I wasn't really seeing anybody on the street in sort of everyday life. Everybody in my village knows who I am and they leave me alone. But I get lots of, it's Geoff, and you're a nasty man, and all that sort of stuff. But nobody ever handbagged me or attacked me.
Yes.
And mostly, what was very gratifying was that they understood the importance of the storyline. And so a lot of it was very positive. Both Shelley and I, Shelley would often get, "Oh, leave him, he's a nasty, what's his name?"
Yeah.
But mostly it was very supportive, and people saying thank you for highlighting this because it's very important. They got it, so that was really that was great actually.
Wonderful. It was an incredibly intense time. Of course, you've got a catalogue of work, an incredible amount of work behind you, all sorts. You're a musician. I saw you in Half a Sixpence, the musical with Charlie Stemp.
Yeah.
Astounding. Such a great show. You were amazing. Charlie's amazing. But with Corrie, it was an intense time, of course. Yeah. And you just reminded me of the COVID situation. We were glued to our TVs, weren't we? More so than now. Yeah. So the intensity of the part you played as Geoff with Shelley as Yasmin, did you ever, I'm going to say it sounds so childish, but did you ever have to hug it out at the end of recording to then go out into normal life? Because you must have been so absorbed with the character and the nastiness of it. How did you do that? Did you do the hug out, or did you have to go home to your wife and just say, "Give me half an hour, I need to chill out"? What was it like for you?
During the nasty stuff, when it became, he was locking her in the box, and especially when she bottled him and stabbed him in the neck, it was very intense, yeah. But the good thing was Shelley and I got on terribly well, and we still do. We still see each other and we talk quite often. And we have the same sense of humour, but we also understood that it was, again, an important storyline to tell, and that's what kept us honest, really, with each other. And we didn't give any quarter, in as much as if we didn't think it was up to the mark from the other person, we'd say it, and we trusted each other to do that.
Yeah.
As far as hugging it out, no, because we were surrounded by so many lovely people at Coronation Street. It's such a huge operation. There are so many people involved. There's always somebody who can lighten the mood, and the crews were fantastic, and the people all who work behind the camera are very professional. They all know why we're there and why we're doing it. But for me, I was very lucky. I was living at home, so I had an hour's drive in the morning, hour's drive in the evening, so I could always just calm down in the car and listen to the radio. And by the time I got home, you get into family life. I've got 2 young children. They don't leave you any space for having to think too much about very much.
Yeah.
So it was yes, it was intense. I had a bit of counselling actually at one point. I had to see somebody. I asked them to
really.
Because I couldn't bear the weight of it. It was he was a very, very nasty, manipulative, unpleasant character, and when you're filming it all day, and you know that you've got another day's filming all day, the following day you're at home in the evening learning it, or going through it to make sure you're in the right place at the right time in the story. So you live it and breathe it for days on end, and you're exhausted from it. Actually, I take my hat off to people who are in it constantly and have been in it for years, because the workload can be really crushing. You see people walking around the building quite grey,
I'm sure.
Tired.
It's all consuming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So I had a bit of counselling. I had a few sessions with a very, very nice chap, and I just said, look, I'm going to use this to dump on you because I've got to get rid of it somehow.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to take it home, and I didn't want to take it out on anybody I was working with. So that was very helpful.
Well, thank you. That's interesting.
But it was quite intense and rather unpleasant at times. Yeah.
And for me, Barty, it was very weird to see you as this character because, it was very interesting casting as well, don't you think?
I don't know how I got it. I don't know how it happened. I knew there were quite a lot of people up for it, and I knew some of them. And I thought they were all infinitely more suited to do it than I was. But they made the choice and they gave it to me, for which I'm very grateful, I have to say.
And you were so brilliant. But Barty, has it, now that you're back in the theatre, do you think it's made any difference to how people perceive you in the profession?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I mean, things are very odd, aren't they, at the moment, as far as work is concerned anyway. It's difficult to generate work. I know a lot of people are generating their own work. A lot of people are making their own movies and doing their own stuff and writing.
Like we are.
Indeed, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think I've been out of it long enough to see if it's had any effect at all. And I think COVID has changed a lot in our business, and I think the way people are perceived now, I don't. In honesty, I really don't know the answer to that. Not at the moment, not yet.
So what are you doing now, Barty? Tell us where you are and what you're doing.
I'm doing a play by Harold Pinter called The Homecoming, and we open in Bath Theatre Royal tonight. Press night.
Hey,
We've done a few previews.
Try.
Thank you very much. We've had a COVID issue, but we're over that now. We're back to full strength as of this evening. So all good. It's very exciting. I've never done any Pinter before, and it's fascinating, and it's such a brutal play, but it's brilliant. We've got
Who else is in it?
We've got Matthew Horn, Keith Allen, Shania Rafat, Sam Alexander, and Jeffrey Lum, in spite of Ian Bartholomew.
And I nearly killed Keith Allen.
You what?
I almost killed him once.
Because he was being horrible, or he was being...
No, it was. We were in a television film that we were doing for America, and for some reason, I mean, I had to hit him with an oar, from a rowing club.
Well, that's her story anyway. That's her story.
Yeah.
So I was the stunt man. Everybody worked with me, and we had it all planned. And he was completely and utterly down one side. He was padded for me to whack him. Unfortunately, I missed his body and went for his face.
Oh.
And he was knocked out.
Wow.
Jeez, Louise. So everybody be really careful of Debbie when she's got an oar.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give her an oar.
No, dear.
Well, he's got a stick in the play, and he actually hits my character with it. But so far, we've managed to avoid any...
Well, just say Debbie Arnold said she killed you with an oar. But for all the rest of the filming, that he had to be filmed from the other side because he was black and blue.
Oh,
I need to talk to him about that when I see him later on.
That's so exciting.
It's so great. Exciting, darling. I'm having a lovely time. It's a lovely company. It's directed by Jamie Glover. It's a cracking play. I think Jamie's done a fantastic job.
Brilliant. And it's a tour, darling, so it's going all around.
It's going all around, and they're talking about the West End, but of course they always do, don't they?
They always do.
We'll see. It'll have to be a critical and financial success before they take it in. But I think, it's a shocking play. It still shocks, even after 50 years. It was written in 64, 65. Mm-hmm. It's still shocking. It's very funny. It's very dark and bleak and brutal, and it's a cracker.
You've sold it to me.
Is there anything, Barty, that you would really like to do now, though, after this? Is there a role you'd really love to play, or something that you'd really love to do?
How long you got? Yeah, it's quite a few things. I'd like to do a bit more Shakespeare. I haven't done any for a while. I'm getting to the age where I can play the older characters now, rather than the Juve leads, which pass me by.
We don't say older on this show. We just say mature.
Mature, the mature roles.
Yes.
I'd like to do a Marvel movie in some way. I don't know. I don't think there's anything. I don't think I could be a superhero, but that would be fun. I don't want to do another musical quite soon. Yeah. I couldn't tell you what. Yeah. But there's a couple of projects that may be coming along later in the year, which I can't talk about at the moment. But that just as a little teaser.
Nice.
They may be happening. One of them may be happening later in the year. We're just trying to work out the details of it at the moment.
Well, Barty, we hope that when you can untease us and come back and tell us what's going on, we'd love to have you back because you've been such a fab guest.
Thank you very much. I'm sure
have a wonderful time.
You say that to everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, we do. But I meant it. I meant it when I said it to you. And it's so nice to see you again after all these years. And I'll try and get to see you somewhere. You're not really coming to Surrey-ish areas, are you? Sort of.
I'm afraid we're bypassing Surrey. It was a stipulation in my contract. We're not going to.
Oh, that's a shame.
Brighton is probably the closest.
Oh, yeah, it's not far.
Malvern, no, that's not anywhere near Surrey, is it really?
No, Brighton's not far.
Brighton's fine.
Yeah. So the last time I saw
Did I say
Harriet
Newcastle? We're going to Newcastle.
Yeah, I went to see Harriet, and I went to see her in Brighton.
All right.
She does,
darling.
Yeah, you did. You travelled.
You travel?
Yeah, I travel. I travel to see friends.
So how is it in Wonderbird land? Are you having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm being joined by Pepper. Hello, Pepper.
Who's Pepper?
Hello. Come and say hello. Oh no, she's gone. I've spent the last few days on my own with Pepper the cat, and she's suddenly decided I'm her best friend because I gave her chicken.
I'll do it.
Listen, I'd be your best friend for chicken.
I'll remember that.
We can't take Hills anywhere. Second time to apologise, I'm afraid.
We can't take them there twice. That's the thing.
Thank you, Barty. Thank you so much.
Darling. You're brilliant.
See you soon. Thank you.
very much.
Soon.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Take care.
Hi, Ian. Nice to meet you. Oh, it's so bizarre. You know, when you're just totally wrapped up in a role that somebody plays, and then you get to just speak to them. It's just a little bit random, I've got to be honest.
It's amazing and fascinating that he had some help and support for creating that character.
Wasn't that?
You know,
what an
really
insight. I'm glad
and
I
so good to hear it, actually, because when people have anxious moments, that's what everyone should do. Get some help.
I think that should be standard. I'm working with a lot of the production companies now to have like a coordinator, so a mental health and disability coordinator to kind of look at reasonable adjustments, but also deal with mental health and things, and that should be a standard, to have access to someone to talk to.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Debbie and I would need them 24/7. That's the only.
Well, that's it. That's the thing is, yes, it's true though. But when you think that, 10 years ago, even 5 years, people were never given any counselling for anything. And I think about my poor mummy, on the kinder transport coming over, and now all these refugees. Sorry to bring that up now, but I kind of I just think that all the time now. I keep thinking about the horror these kids are going through and how they've got to have they'll be having loads of counselling to get through that. I mean,
so important. It's important that we have it in our conversation. And you look at all the men in the First World War who were just put into mental asylums and nobody could cope and they were shamed. Nobody could talk about their vulnerability, whatever it is. Yeah. It was never discussed over a coffee with friends. You kept it all quiet and pushed it away. And it's so amazing. And we're so lucky. At least we're beginning to have that conversation.
Quite right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the Wonderbirds are very serious at the end of the show today. On Friday, we'll be back on Friday with the gorgeous Sam and the gorgeous Hills. And we'll be talking to the lovely Susie Amy, which will be exciting. And it's lovely to be back. It's lovely to be back in the kitchen.
Cooking as always.
We'll see you all on Friday. See you on Friday.
See you then, ladies.
Bye.
Love it.
Bye.